Alright, hello, my name is Connor, and this will be a demonstration of my Solitaire program that I wrote in C++. So the first thing it asks me to do is to change my window so that I can see the whole screen. Basically, each time it refreshes, it's going to want the player to see the entire board every time they press T, or in the case of the actual game, they would enter a move and then it would refresh automatically. So there are two refresh types. There's clear and scroll. For clear, it just clears the console right before it refreshes. And for scroll, it doesn't clear anything and just prints it out at the bottom. Well, after a few new lines to create some white space at the top. So for this demonstration, I will probably just keep it on clear because that will be the cleanest. And we can press X to continue. So if you do not know how Solitaire works, you can pause the video and read it here. For this program, cards will be drawn one at a time. In some versions, you can draw 3 at a time, but I'm less comfortable with playing that type specifically. So I programmed it so that it would draw 1 at a time. It's more user-friendly, I think. So here is also a explanation of the controls, which asks the user to enter 3 different things, which is a move card and a from stack number and a to stack number. And these have to be separated by a space. So the move card is basically just going to be the value of the card that is displayed on the card, which will be shown in a second. And the from stack will be whatever stack the card is currently in, and then the to stack number will be wherever you want to move it to. So if you wanted to move it to an ace of spades to the spade foundations, you would type the A followed by a space, followed by whatever stack it's currently in, another space, and then SF, which would stand for spade foundation. So we can press the enter key to start the game. And for this demonstration, I've programmed the random seed to have a set path. And so I'm going to be showing you just the basics of the game. So as I said, the control statements is the card value. So let's say our first move is the ace and stack 2, and we want to move that to the heart foundation. So we would say A space 2 space heart HF, which stands for heart foundation. And we would press enter, and it would refresh, and we now have moved that card to the heart foundation. In doing that, we flip over the card that was underneath that, which happens to be a 2 of spades. So that's how you move cards, basically. Another way to move cards is to do the undo function, or you could you can also move cards from the foundation to a stack. So because the 2 of spades is of a different color and a higher order than the ace, we can type A space HF for heart foundation and space 2, and that will move the ace and the heart foundation to stack 2. Center. And you can see that's what just happened. So another thing I have in this is the undo function, which it will undo whatever move you last did, and this is basically a vector keeping all of the moves you've ever made in it. And so you can scroll all the way back to the beginning. There's no limit on it. That this is because the game is entirely random. Because it is entirely random, some hands will be unwinnable. And to make sure that you can have the greatest chance of winning, you would want to explore all your options if you're stuck. So if we enter undo again, so remember that our first this will undo our first move that we ever did, which was moving the ace from stack 2 to the heart foundation. But remember that we had flipped over this 2 in that process. So if we press undo here, it flips over that 2 again. Other than that, there is drawing, which you can draw from the stock and move whatever you draw into the talon. So we can draw here, and we can't move this anywhere, so we draw again, and we can move that. So we type A space T for talon, this is the talon, space DF for diamond foundation, and it will move the ace and the talon to the diamond foundation. Press enter, and there we go. You can see we did that. And again, we can press undo to undo that move. So next I will show recycling the stock, which will take a while, so I will cut the video here. Alright, so that's good enough. Basically all I did was use the draw move until the stock ran out, which would just be 20 seconds of me sitting here pressing D. So I skipped that. So now that the stock is empty, it shows that no cards are there, and the talon is full. So if we try to draw again, it will have to refresh the stock by reshuffling all of the cards in the talon into the stock. So we do that, and now we show that this is back in order. So if we draw again, it will be the first card that was in the stock, which should be the 3 of diamonds, and it is. So the only things left to do, other than showing you that you can even undo the refresh the stock, is to show you the win and the interstack drawing. Alright, so I've stopped at a good place to demonstrate how you can move cards from within a stack that are in the middle of the stack. So like this 4, for example, I can move it to this 5 because it is of a higher order and a different color. So I can type 4, 7, space 3, which will move the 4 in stack 7 to stack 3. And it moves the 3 along with it because it was already there. And this is also a good place to show ordinary gameplay. This is the same game that I was showing before, just at a different point in the win route that I made. So 7, 5, 7, then we can move 6 and 3, 5, ace, 3 to the spade foundation, then we have a 2 and stack 2 to the spade foundation. And now that we have an empty stack, it shows as empty, similar to the empty foundation and empty talon and stock images. So we can move kings from wherever they are to empty spots. They are the only ones that can do that. So, and we have a king in stack 6. So we can now move that to stack 2. That will reveal the next card underneath that. So now we have a 7, stack 5. That can go to stack 1. And a 4. And stack 6. Oh, no. That's where I went wrong. We have a 3 and stack 1. That can go to the Spade Foundation. 4 and 6. That can go to the Spade Foundation. I type Diamond Foundation. That's why. Yes. So another thing I've done is that I didn't want this to be a mind-numbing game like Solitaire is on my phone, which is where I basically got the inspiration from. Usually I'll just end up tapping away mindlessly at the cards just to see if they'll move. So I didn't want that to happen. So if a player inputs a incorrect move, nothing will happen. And so you can't just mindlessly input moves that you think might happen and they'll just happen. So you have to actually think about what moves are going where. And that's also partially why I made the game so forgiving, which by including the infinite undo button. So now that we've typed the correct statements in, we can actually move that card. So now we can move 4 and stack 6 to the Spade Foundation, and that should give you a pretty clear understanding of exactly how it looks to play the game. So now the only thing to show is the win, so I will cut the video here. Alright, so here's a good point to start up again. So these are the last 4-5 moves, and as the programmer, I would say this is the one thing that I wish I could do better. So at the last moves of Solitaire, there's no more puzzle to solve about how to reveal cards and how to move between the tableau and the foundation with ease or skillfully. So once all of the cards in the tableau are flipped face up, I wish I could have made an auto function that would have automatically calculated the number of moves and allowed the user to just skip that these last bit of moves just to save them some time. But I didn't like the way it would look because it would basically just be the player typing in auto once all the cards are revealed, and it would tell you that you win without you having to see all of the cards go into the foundations and you cleaning up the board, which is part of what I think is what makes Solitaire fun. Making order out of disorder. And so this is the last move, and we'll show all of the moves I did. So I won in 186 moves. So that's pretty high. The win route that I made is only about 126 moves, I think. And so the extra moves are from me doing the demonstrations at the beginning, moving the cards and recycling the stock and whatnot. And so that's all you do to end the game. So once the game is done, you press the enter key on your keyboard a few times, and it closes. So now on to the program bit. So this will be a quick overview of how my coding and development cycle went. So basically, I made up an issue and solved it for each and everything that I needed to do. So my main goal was to create a way to play solitaire and have it be reasonable and have it coded in C++. So I decided that I would use ASCII art instead of using outside libraries to display to the screen in other ways, which would be faster and more efficient and all around a better product probably, but then I wouldn't be able to say that I wrote everything in this file myself. I would have to say, yes, I had to download this library, but I don't have to say that with this code. I wrote everything in here myself. And that's something I'm proud of because it's a little over 1,000 lines of code. So basically, I wanted to use ASCII art and have it be in color. And so one of the first problems I had was, how do I print in color? And at first I found using windows.h, there's a way to change the text style. But after trying to get someone else to run my program and them having trouble with it, I decided to go with ANSI escape codes. This proved to be a little difficult. I had to do some testing to figure out what it was that I was printing. Here's some code I wrote for finding out what the colors were. This is from the original windows.h method, but I didn't write this code. I took it from somewhere, and I ended up not using this. I ended up having to learn exactly how the ANSI escape codes worked, and then printed really long loops that would go on for a while. I also had to do a ton of planning. One great tool that I was using was Excel. I wanted to find out what the maximum height that I would have to print to was. And so this is a max length stack, which is the worst case scenario. A king is in the stack 7 face up, and then you would have to build down from there all the way to ace. So even if you do that in my code, it would display properly. Other than that, I had to figure out how I was going to display them using 2D arrays and special characters and such like that. And then I decided I wanted it to look like this, and then had to discover how to program it to create each card. So I have a basic layout, and then I replace each section depending on the value, the suit and the color and whatnot. Other than that, there's mainly just the game handling, which is just a bunch of logic that I had to get my way through. And that's about that. If you want to hear me talk a little bit more in depth about the code, I might have another video linked. But that was my program demonstration. Thank you for watching.